Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Jacob6875 here with another video about BlizzCon 2011, and I wanted to talk about the new expansion, Mists of Pandaria, and tell you guys why I don't know why there's so many people saying this is like the end of WoW. I think it's great, and it's a much better expansion than Cataclysm is right now, at least. So that's definite improvement for where the game has been going. And actually starting to look better than Wrath of the Lich King too. So I'm going to go through the major features and share my opinion about it and why I think it's going to be a pretty good expansion. Now I'm on MMO Champion right now, of course. Want to give credit to that website. They have all the information organized. A lot of it's on Blizzard's website. Also, they have released their own, like previews of the expansion. But basically what the Mists of Pandaria is there's going to have a whole new continent that's been undiscovered for 10,000 years, which is pretty silly, or hidden for 10,000 years. And there's a whole new race of pandas, Pandaras, whatever they're called. And yeah, we're going to go there. There's no major enemy like the other. It's going to be like Vanilla WoW, where there's not really a major enemy trying to kill everyone. Like Burning Crusade, it was Illidan. Cataclysm was not Cataclysm. Wrath of the Lich King was Arthas. Cataclysm was, well, Deathwing. And yeah, there's not some evil dude trying to kill everyone that we're supposed to kill. It's basically just kind of like Vanilla, where Horde and Alliance are going to be fighting each other. More focus on that, and there'll be raids and dungeons, of course. But so yeah, basically that's what the goal of the expansion is. It's not just going to be the whole expansion. Ooh, let's all try to kill Deathwing this whole entire time. Or let's all try to kill Arthas this whole entire time. But yeah, that's not going to happen. So of course there's going to be levels from 85 to 90. So there's going to be 5 new zones, 1 continent. It's sort of like Asian landscapes, like China-ish. It looks like. I don't know. You're not going to be able to fly until you get to level 90 in the new zones, which I think is honestly a good idea, because being able to fly kind of ruined the leveling in Cataclysm for me anyway. I'm just like, you just fly to wherever you're supposed to go in 2 seconds, which kind of ruined it. So there's only 5 zones, but they say they're very large, of course. But yeah, having to run around, it's going to make it leveling be a lot more fun, I think, and better. And yeah, they go through the creatures, stuff like that. Bunch of new unique creatures. The Jade Forest, Valley of Four Winds, a couple of the zones. And the new features. Pandarians are the new race. Both Horde and Alliance can play them. At level 10, you decide where you're going to go, Alliance or Horde, which is pretty cool, I guess. And like classic Blizzard fashion, the female model is not done. I'm sure it'll come out a week before the game launches, or whatever. But, yeah, I think that's a good idea to have a neutral race. Honestly, I thought Goblins would have been that neutral race in Cataclysm, but Goblins could have been, but they didn't decide to go that way. And if you're wondering, Pandarians can be the Hunter, Mage, Priest, Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior. And they can be the new race, of course, the Monk, which is kind of a melee healer. You can either be a Tank, which is Brewmaster spec, Mistweaver, which is a healer that can melee also. I guess it's going to be kind of like Age of Conan, where there's some classes that can do that. And there's going to be a melee DPS class. And it will start at level 1, if you're wondering. It won't have any auto attack. You'll have to, which could be either really good or really bad, honestly. I guess they're trying to copy Age of Conan with this character, because Age of Conan didn't have auto attack either. I don't think you had to tell it to do every attack. But yeah, the new class will wear leather armor and yeah, staves, fist weapons. Yeah, I mean, there's not much about the monk besides that. And the racials, if you're wondering, they are pretty good, I think. I mean, one of them increases stats from benefits from food by 100%, which would be pretty good. You get cooking skill increased. Terrible. Take 50% less fall damage. That's a good touch. Your rest experience bonus lasts twice as long. That's pretty cool also for leveling. And you can put a target to sleep for 3 seconds. Now that and the food buff, that is probably one of the best races right now. I mean, a 3 second put someone to sleep in PvP, that's amazing. But yeah, moving on to the I went over the talent system kind of. They didn't like the way it was working, so I went over that in my previous video about the shamans, resto shamans, so take a look at that if you're interested. PvE scenarios. These are going to be kind of cool. They're going to make they're almost like dungeons, but they're not dungeons. They're going to be like PvP, like you go in with a group and have to kill 50 Alliance or Horde soldiers, destroy 6 towers. And the idea behind them is it doesn't matter what role you play, like tank, healer, or DPS, so basically any character is going to be able to instant queue for them. So, I mean, that I think is going to be really hard to get right, but if they do get it right, they'll be pretty cool, you know. Being able to instant queue as DPS for different PvE scenarios. I guess we'll have to see how they are in the beta. And there's going to be challenge modes, which I think are really cool. Basically, going to be like time trial ones of dungeons. But the big thing is all the gear is going to be normalized, which basically puts everyone on a completely equal level. That way, you can't say that you can actually show who's the best player on the server. And it's going to be tracked by rank for the whole server. You'll be able to look at the whole server list, what people were the fastest that could go through these instances. And there are rewards. I say they're going to be really cool gear for the transmogrification, or however you pronounce it. No stats from the gear, but you'll be able to look really cool. And you get Valor points from it, of course. The next huge change is the pet battle system, which reminds me exactly like Pokemon. It's going to be turn-based. You have 3 companion pets you train and level up. You have to go places to capture pets. Like one of the examples they give, you'll only be able to catch a pet in the spring at night in Elwyn Forest. So there'll be a bunch of very specific ways to capture pets. And it's going to be PvE and PvP. It's going to be turn-based, simple combat system. And you'll be able to queue up and fight anyone you want. So, I mean, this is a very cool idea. We'll have to see more on, but I think it's good. People to say it's terrible, but I mean, adding something new to the game that's fun diversion from raiding or PvP 24/7, it's going to be pretty fun, I think. Gives a new aspect to the game. And different pets are going to have different abilities, and this is going to be all tons of different customizations for that. So I think that's going to be a really fun new aspect to the game. We're going to get 9 new dungeons, and 6 of them will be on Pandaria, and we'll get Skullomance and Scarlet Monastery back on heroic mode. Which, I don't know why they picked Scarlet Monastery. That instance, I've done that 5 billion times leveling, but Skullomance should be pretty fun. So, yeah, they're bringing those back as heroics. But yeah, 9 new dungeons. That's, I think, way more than we got in Cataclysm. There's also not going to be level 90 normal mode raids, only heroics, which that'll be interesting as well. So we'll see how that works. And there's going to be 3 raids apparently. And they're all going to be available on the raid finder. And they're going to bring back world raid bosses, which I always thought those were really fun. Some of the best times in a Classic were getting the whole guild together and going to kill the green dragons or whatever. And MMO Champion decided to refresh itself. As you can see, there's a lot of content on here. Alright, pet battle system, raids, questing. Increased focus on max level content. That's good. Unlike Cataclysm, they spent all this time on this level 60 revamping the entire questing system. And with all the heirloom gear you get, you skip so much of it, it's ridiculous. So, really big fan of that for the questing. Focusing on max level, which honestly the whole game should be focused on max level. Yeah, also getting rid of the linear choices, supposedly, so that'd be good. And there's a bunch of new battlegrounds, you know, a lot better than the ones we got with Cataclysm that are like carbon copies of Warsong Gulch and AV. I mean, seriously, you take AV, remove 2 of the flags. Oh, new battleground. No. Or Warsong Gulch clone. Oh, we put a river in the middle. It's clearly not Warsong Gulch, guys. But yeah, there's Stranglethorn Diamond Mines, payload style gameplay, which I have no idea. Valley of Power is Murder Ball. And Ashara Crater, Defense of the Ancients. And a new arena, of course. So we'll have to see how these are. I'm sure they sound a lot better. And one amazing change, achievements are now for all your characters. I always hated that if I started an alt. I'd have no achievement points. So that's going to be pretty amazing. A couple major changes for classes: no minimum range for hunters, and hunters don't use melee weapons anymore. So no more. That would have been nice back in Molten Core, where they stole weapons like the Brutality Blade from the rogues. But anyway, and rogues and warriors can apparently throw melee weapons. So yeah, the shamans, buff totems are gone, and druids now actually have 4 different specs, which is confusing. But hey, whatever. They have a cat spec and a bear spec, and I assume still Moonkin and Restoration. And they're just talking about some of the talent system changes. So all in all, I think this is going to be a great expansion. Definitely better than what we're currently playing right now, and probably better than Wrath of the Lich King ever was. So it's been Jacob6875, and thanks for watching.